אני אפתח בקוריוז בין פסח ראשון לפסח
So I will start with a bit of an anecdote. Between the first Passover and the second Passover celebration, I was bombed with articles and papers. Some of them were by people who has a PhD and others as well that were alarming that the conversion of alerts will lead to war that will be on the gate of the state of Israel, and the Palestinian arena will be simmering from within, and Hezbollah will be attacking us, coordinating from the north. Iranians will be sending drones from all the arenas, and we will be saying something very significant. One of the explanations is that our enemies see our weakness, a certain weakness, the way it's being actually indicated in our internal arena, and will be abusing this opportunity. And this will be the pivotal moment of a significant change that is currently happening. Well, first of all, Manu just described here all of the occurrences, so I will not be spending too much time and save the time of the viewers and those of you who are present this particular introduction.
לתופעה הזאת יש פנים שעולים ויורדים, כי נקרא את זה ככה, האינטנסיביות או האפשרות הזאת עולה ויורדת.
For a long time, this is not something new, this is that wasn't born now, and therefore, while this is not a phenomenon that this phenomenon has different faces, different angles. The intensity, this goes up and down according to the general strategic picture. We are in an era, in a time that the world is very focused on the war in the Ukraine, in the United States is focused, and they pay less attention to the Middle East. I don't want to take the things, my two colonels on the panel said that, but Iran is using this opportunity and states new rules in the region. There was said about the Thunder Drift in Saudi Arabia is leading that this is maybe a occurring that we can do new tendency that or a parallel relationship we used to talk in the past we can do with Israel and with other. We can do a normalization, and from all that is what added to it what is happening inside Israel. What is happening in Israel is influences on two parameters. I remember that after the elections, I was in an event, a big event that took place in Abu Dhabi in the Emirates, and the representative from the Arab countries that they said we are happy with the results of the elections. We like in Israel to think that the stability and from the Netanyahu represents the strong leader, and they realize that there's no stability and he is not a strong leader. That this whole idea deteriorated immediately and collapsed. And the second thing is that when look at us, we do not interpret us in a good way our enemies, and when they look at the tension, the inside the state, and the taking place with the internal issues. This is a good occasion. Can we change the rules of the games? What happened so far?
I just would like to tell you and the viewers, we have the whole panel that will be focusing on the changes within Israeli society and judiciary overhaul. We are focused on the security risks and threats and etc. Sima again, a general overview, and we'll be zooming in into details. I think differently from Orna that we are currently given at the point of certain conversion of the security processes that have a negative potential for Israel. As it happens very often, we talk about various stars that align, not all of it because of us, some of us completely unconnected to us, but they did align somehow, and you cannot ignore that. Obviously, and I completely agree with Udi, that Iran is in fact indeed the main security threat of Israel, our challenge, I would say. But what is happening today is a convergence among all of those aspects. There is a connection between the progress in the nuclear plan, and there is a connection to the encroachment of Iran on the global regional arena. So this encroachment is one among other components of this resistance front that Iran tries to create for quite a while, whether it's Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza Strip, or the militias, Iranian militias in Syria, in Iraq, and Houthis in Yemen. And the event that happened on the Temple Mount, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in detail, that connected the dots really. In fact, even there were no missiles launched from all of those geolocations, they all expressed their opinions. All the leaders of militias in Iraq, obviously Hezbollah, and the launch of the barrage of Hezbollah from Lebanon. This arena, this connection of arenas that Iran been talking for so many years was connected, not all of them through missiles, obviously, and obviously the relationship between Iran and China and Russia. This is a strategic development on international level. We never saw that before. Russia is in need of aid of Iran in military field, and Iran, Russia, and China are together implementing different steps of maritime drills. So in fact, we are in a completely different international situation that existed before, of course. Obviously, an additional process that is happening is the return of Syria into the arena and the developing relationship between Iran and the Saudis, Bahrain, Jordan, and Egypt. Very soon, Israel can continue and say that they are processes, of course, and they are processes, obviously. But there's a certain point in time where those things are converging into one, and the question whether Israel will succeed. Of course, we will never mention what is happening on the other side, the undermined relationship between Jordan and Israel, the undermined relationship between the Emirates and Israel, the distancing of the chances of Saudis in Israel, and the certain cooling down of the relationship with the United States. All of those processes are together very negative processes. It will take time. The reinforcement of Iran and the encroachment of Iran and their space and their nuclear threshold of Iran bring to the process that did not start today. Some of the neighbors of Iran want to get closer to the Iranians. Keep your enemies as close to yourself as possible, while understanding that the power of Iran is preferable, and maybe the regional or international steps to stop Iran were exhausted at that point. There is a decreasing of American attention. Yeah, the forces remain, but there is the less of attentiveness of the Americans to the security problems of those countries as far as the countries see that. And what they actually try to do is to improve on their own situation. If it's only possible, one comment, we are right now in the midst of the historical process that is tremendously significant. It's difficult to describe that.
We call it the competition between the powers and between the new order in the world. And we don't know where we are. They don't know how it will end and how it will look like, but it is possible that it will be a world that has two poles, although multiple poles. But this design makes that we have the regional powers that want to create, to represent their regional interests in the competition between the different powers.
آنچه در مورد ما میگویند